Hey Jock, great to see you, buddy. How's your weekend going so far? Whew. Whew. Weekend's going very well, thank you for asking. Got a lot of sleep last night. Not the best sleep, but not bad sleep. I woke up today and I've had some good meals. Got a little bit of work done. Thought I'd have a little fun in the gym. So I'm gonna start with triceps night and just do some of that, and see where the night takes me. As I might throw in chest as well, kind of like what I did last time, where I started with triceps and I did chest with it, or maybe I'll just do triceps and call it a day. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. We're not going crazy. We're taking it nice and breezy. Yeah, triceps are the most important thing. Of course, got to get the arms looking good. So triceps are important for that. And then, chest is secondary. Still important, but not, as important, obviously. And I can knock chest out with a couple of flies. That burns up real quick. And then if I have any energy left, shoulders are obviously not important at all, but we can still do them. Oh, that's fantastic. It's good to meal prep, get your stuff done early so you're not trying to make food when you're hungry. That's real good. And, being tired tonight's good because you can start winding yourself down, relax for a little while, get yourself some good sleep, go to bed at a decent time. And I've got such a long way. thank you, Jock. I got some good responses from my last workout, and you know, the only guys who watch me work out are guys who enjoy skin. So there's no point in me trying to hide it. So I threw on a pair of wrestling trunks with I got a thong under here that I'll model later. These are actually the trunks I had made to mimic Lex Luger and his 1993 run. You know, when he had the red and white stripes here, and then he had that V with the stars. But I didn't want to rip them off completely, so I got these. I thought it was like, if you know what I'm ripping off, you can see it, but to the untrained eye, they just look like some ugly brown trunks. So I'm happy with them. Whew. Plus, it's gonna save on my on me doing laundry, because I can wear wrestling trunks, you know, 2 or 3 times in the gym without needing to wash them, because they're specifically for working out. Well, thank you, Sam. That's not true at all, but I really appreciate you saying so, buddy. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Well, who am I to argue? I will take compliments all day long. Whew. 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 Let me know if you guys can see okay. I can always switch over to this one. This one might be better for the left arm. But maybe righty's coming in better tonight. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll stay over here. I'm just gonna suck my gut in and see if I can walk around like this. This is how I go in the grocery store, you know, just in case. You see a pretty lady, you're like, suck the gut in, stick out the chest. And then when I exhale, it's like, which way are the pizza pockets? Whew. Got a good sweat going already. We might just do about 5 or 7 minutes left, and then maybe we can do some chest. Real simple, basic chest. That's you got this is how I walk around town. But swinging my arms. Whew. Boy, oh boy, that hurts. Oh, that's only 40 pounds too. Usually I'm able to move 60. I guess I went a little too heavy on the first couple. I don't think Vince McMahon has time to exhale. He's just like, I got shit to do. I ain't got time to exhale. He goes into the store, and the guy says, "Okay, well, what are you looking for?" He says, "I want a child's small tank top," and he stretches it over his fucking huge frame. He's like, "Does this make me look weird?" And it's like a fucking tank, like a fucking belly shirt. That's what I'm gonna start wearing for you guys, just like the super high cutoff shirts where it just hides this section. So you get a good look of the hairy belly. Where did I put the other one? I probably wouldn't lose so much shit if I did a better job of putting stuff where they need to go. I was like, so where does your rope equipment go? Oh, it goes in this random box with all my other equipment, and then this hockey mask. because that's what you want to do. You want to put your gym equipment with hockey masks, because this comes in real handy at the gym. This will come in handy when I need to do bent over stuff. So I can never lose eye contact with you guys. You know, a normal person would look at that hockey mask and say, why did I buy that? But me, I look at that hockey mask and I say, why did I buy 2 of them? It's like, I don't know. I buy a lot of weird shit. And 1970s style hockey masks seem like the fun thing to do. I that's exactly right. I was like, I had I'll tell you a story. My buddy had broken his nose in a wrestling match, right? And he was gonna come back with like some kind of like face gear, right? And I said, you know, in the mid '80s when the Road Warriors were wrestling with the Powers of Pain, and the Powers of Pain had busted Animal's face open with a weight, right? So Animal came out, and he was wearing like this, but it had his face paint on it, over here. It looked really cool. So I was telling my buddy, I was like, get one of those, you know, it'll look really cool. But he didn't do it because he's stupid. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy one because who knows, maybe one day I'll break my pretty little face and I'll need something to cover it. So that was my justification. And then I bought a second one, but in black, because my plan was to recreate the Demolition gear. You know, for those of you wrestling fans who know Demolition, they came out and they had the hockey mask, but it was like kind of covered in leather and studs. And I was like, I bet I can kind of recreate that a little bit if I tried. So I bought a black one, and I haven't done shit with it, but it makes me feel good. So maybe one day you guys will come onto my channel and see me sitting here with a sewing machine in front of me working on my Demolition gear. I mean, the hockey mask worked really well for Animal because he already had the face paint. So, hey Austin, great to see you, buddy. He just put this face paint on the mask. You know, it looked really cool. But it's also, for those of you who know territory wrestling from the '80s, Sid Vicious was Lord Humongous. So he had that hockey mask, you know, based off the guy from Mad Max, the Road Warrior. Wait, it was Mad Max 2. So I was like, you know, it's maybe one day I'll grow 8 inches and and I could be Lord Humongous. Well, thank you. I was telling the guys earlier these are my Lex Luger inspired trunks. I thought it would be more fun to wear more wrestling gear on here. I mean, I used to do that more often, but I didn't do it on YouTube because I figured that they had some kind of like policy against too much skin. But I assume man nipples are okay. But got my thong under here. This one feels much better because it's well worn, so there's like basically no thread in it. Because lucky for you guys, I have an infinite amount of wrestling trunks, and all donations that I receive go towards buying more wrestling trunks. If you guys like what you see, feel free to buy me another pair. That's not me begging for donations, that was a joke. Oh yeah, the Road Warriors are great. Steiners are fantastic. Big Steiner Brothers fan. Couple of massive men. Oh, well, we're going to have to change that, Austin. I'm going to have to send you one of my t-shirts. Oh no, feel free to discuss wrestling all you like, because I really enjoy wrestling, so it's a topic I can actually talk about. we'll see if I have the energy to take pictures after I finish my workout, because I am sweaty. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. I do like these trunks. They're well made. You know, they're not too thick, but they're not thin. Good coverage. Like, I like the high trunks, so I can tuck my belly into them. You know, like a all Japan style. Because you know, Giant Baba didn't like anybody's belly button to show, so he always had everybody pull their trunks up. Have a great rest of your weekend, Sam. I hope it's great. I hope to talk to you again soon. Message me anytime, buddy, so we can continue to chit-chat. But bye for now, buddy. Oh, he is absolutely right. I need to drink some more water. Whew. Whew. What was that? Well, you can see on my bench how well I've been sweating. This is my upper back right here, and then down below here we have my very large behind. So keep in mind that all this huffing and puffing is not for show. I'm not a cam girl who is making noises to excite you, but doesn't really mean it. This is 100% authentic. I do not fake this. Let's do another set at 40 to make sure the chest is nice and warmed up before we jump up, because I don't want to. You don't want to mess around with flies. These can, if you put too much weight on this and you lose control, then your arm is going to go back and you're fucking going to pop your pec out. And with my bench being just a little bit far away from the machine, you know, there's about 4 inches or so that of slack, that it won't stop right here, it'll stop back here. So that can really mess somebody up. And safety is key here. Good God, why am I talking so much? I am hurting. And you don't, honestly, you don't need a lot of weight with these, you know. You know, that stretch right back here is you don't need a lot of weight before you pull it in. And you know, unlike dumbbells, when you do it, you kind of lose gravity like right around here. But with the cables, it's constantly pulling away. The gravity's turned up to 100. So, but it's nice just to do these and get the pecs warmed up, and we'll just do a bunch of these. We'll do like we did last week. You know, we'll do 20 minutes of just fucking these. Yeah, I'm not preparing for a competition at Mr. Olympia. So let's just see if we can't get that burn going before we call it a day. Biceps are looking good. What do you guys think? Lefty's looking a lot better. Got some good hang right here and a good peak. I mean, that looks good. Whew. like I'm on a slip and slide. Do they still make those slip and slides, or are they out of date? Ooh, that's not bad. Fudgesicle. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. God, that sucks. Oh. Oh, I don't blame them, Austin. I mean, like if I got like a little small pool, you know, I'd be all summer long. I would just be, well, honestly, if I had a pool like that, I'd put it in my backyard, fill it up with water, put on some Speedos or a thong or something, hop in there and just float and turn the camera on for you guys. You know, get a hot dog and just lay in the sun. Speaking of sun, I am in desperate need of a tan. I know that I say that every day, but it's true. I am one pale man. I need to work on my lighting in here so I'm not getting so many shadows. Not sure how to do that though. You know, maybe I can invest in one of those the ring lights that the YouTubers use. I don't know. I'll talk to somebody who knows a bit more about lighting so they can help me figure it out. Because what the hell's the point in working out if you guys can't adequately see every nook and cranny? I don't know if you guys were around, but what I would do was during the summer, and I don't think it wasn't last summer, but I think it was summer of 2020, maybe 2019, I would get my lawn chair, you know, put it in my backyard, drag the camera out there, and put it on me while I sunbathed. And, you know, I couldn't talk to chat or anything, but I would just record it, you know, and I know it would be pretty boring because I was just sitting there in dead silence tanning. right? But Chatterbait kept stopping the video. They said something about like no public videos or something. And I was like, public? I'm in my fucking backyard. Like, I own this fucking land. And it's only me. I have a fucking fence. I'm in my underwear. It was really weird. And I'm pretty sure people do public stuff on there, so but that's the least of my problems with Chatterbait. But maybe YouTube will be more forgiving with it, and I can start doing some videos outside of me tanning. Well, to be fair, Jock, spray tans are a lot more healthy for your skin than laying in the sun or a tanning bed, because you can get some, your skin can get very rough, and there's also skin cancer is an issue, but that's why sunscreen exists. And it's not only is it more cost effective because the sun is free, but it stays with you longer. I can understand, okay, I have to, if somebody said, hey, my wedding is in 2 days, can you come and be my best man or whatever? Which I would hope I would have a little bit more leeway than that, but hypothetically, right? Or let's say a modeling agency said, hey, we're gonna be in your hometown, and we want you to do a photo shoot, because that would happen, right? But we're only gonna be there. We're gonna be there in 2 days. Then you get a spray tan, because it's quick, it's not super expensive. You can do what you have to do. Hopefully it won't drip while you're standing there, and then you're done. But otherwise, if you have if you have the time, and you're fine with sitting in one place or laying in one place for 45 minutes to an hour, just lay in the sun. Oh, of course. I mean, if I'm going to tan or anything, I'm going to try to record it. And if I can't record it, then I will take pictures, because that's that sucks. Because that's that's the whole reason you do it, I mean, we say that we lift weights or we tan or we eat right or whatever the hell we do for ourselves, and that's kind of true, but we also do it for other people. So I'm definitely going to take pictures. I mean, hell, I take pictures every day anyways, but I'll definitely I'll definitely take pictures while I'm outside, and I can supplement that as well with the tanning bed at the gym, because I'm not sure how good of a tan I'm going to get outside, because I broke my last lawn chair, because I'm a big fat guy. So I might have to wheel my second weight bench out there and lay on that. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be wrestling again soon. I mean, I've gotten a couple of offers to go wrestle. I've turned them down because they weren't what I wanted to do. But we might be going on tour again soon. See, if I were wrestling, then right now at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time on a Saturday, I wouldn't be here. You know, I wouldn't be in my gym, in my underwear, working out, talking with you guys. I would have been in a, you know, rec center or high school gym locker room for the past 4 or 5 hours, just sitting around doing nothing, and then wrestling for 10 minutes, getting done, showering, coming home, and, you know, doing nothing. So it's such a huge chunk of my day, and it's like, God. It's not like I'm the promoter or whoever that I need to be there all day to make sure shit gets done. I should be able to get there maybe before doors open, but that's about it. You get there before doors open, you come in, you say hello to everybody, you put your shit on, you warm up, you go wrestle, and you fucking leave. But that's not how wrestling is. It's like, no, it's an all-day thing. And it's like, why would I want to do that? I mean, I don't want to do anything for that amount of time, let alone sit around with people that I barely like. Whew. Got a good sweat going today. Let's do some presses. Hello there, Joffrey. Welcome aboard. I voted for Donald Trump. If that makes you upset, I'm very sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But I appreciate you coming by and saying hello. I honestly prefer tag team wrestling because there's more psychology in tag team wrestling, where you and your partner working together can make for some really good drama. And just between us, when you're in a tag team and you tag out, you stay on the apron, you can catch your breath. So I can sit there and go, okay, let's go. So you get a little break. But I prefer tag team wrestling anyways, just because there's more fun to stuff to do, you know? I mean, not that I hate singles. You know, singles can be fun too. It just depends on what you're trying to convey. And I've always preferred tag teams because there's more things you can do that are inventive, or just like ways in which you can stop the good guys from tagging. You know, like how are you going to stop them? How are you going to make that one good guy on the apron come in and distract the referee so that you and your partner can attack the one in the ring, or things like that. You know, it's a lot of working parts, and just like you and your partner being able to do double team moves. You know, I'm not like a big move guy, but like, you know, just getting somebody, Irish whipping them into the ropes, you know, and doing the 3-point stance shoulder tackle. I like that. Unfortunately, in modern wrestling, there aren't a lot of managers. You know, the really good managers that you would think of were guys who were wrestlers but had to retire because of an injury or something, right? I mean, not except for Jim Cornette, but like Bobby Heenan was a really good wrestler, but then he had to retire because of neck issues. So, but if you have a manager, somebody who can talk for you, somebody who can get in there and, you know, distract the referee, or you know, distract the other wrestler so that you can get, you know, a cheap shot in, or you know, all kinds of things. There's a lot of fun things you can do with a manager. It's just that a lot of people who get into wrestling now, they get in it to be wrestlers, which, I mean, I understand. That's where the glory is, right? But you know, you can, if you were a manager that could talk, which between, like let's just say it, wrestling today is not about talking, it's about, you know, doing moves and stuff. So a lot of people don't develop the gift of gab. They don't talk, or they can't talk well. So you need to have a manager who is smaller, because you don't want a manager like Gary Hart who's like fucking, you know, towers over everybody. You want a manager who's shorter. You want a manager who is very good on the mic, who can talk. And you want a manager who can bump. You know, like Heenan, Jimmy Hart, those guys, Jim Cornette, they could talk, but they could also move around. You know, they could fall, they could bump. So that's what you need. And you need somebody who's selfless. Oh yeah, Johnny Valiant. So you need somebody who's not going to want to be, you know, the main guy, you know? Like the manager's role is, I go out there, I get the people excited, my boys come in, they do all the dirty work. You know, I get a couple of cheap shots in, but it's not about me making sure I look good. It's about making sure everybody knows how good my guys are. So, you know, Jim Cornette, he would be, you know, I'm rich and all this stuff, but you know, Bobby Eaton is the greatest wrestler in the world, and Stan Lane, you know, is the hottest man alive, and fucking Dennis Condrey will beat the hell out of everybody here. These are the baddest man on the world, right? So it's not about him. And then eventually the manager has to get the shit kicked out of him, because, like, you know, when his guys, or his guy, whatever, you know, when the Heenan family were beating up somebody, right? And they needed the good guy to come out there and beat up the Heenan family. They didn't beat up Haku. You know, they didn't beat up Andre the Giant. They didn't beat up those guys. They beat up Heenan, because he could retain the hatred of him by the fans, because getting beaten up him getting beaten up doesn't make him look weak, because by definition he was weak. So it's like oh yeah, Lou was really good, you know, not a great bumper, but you know, he could really talk. But he was older, you know. It's like you know, you wanna, and then you have to be ready for that eventual collision, because like Bobby Heenan would antagonize and antagonize and antagonize, and then eventually it was Greg Gagne versus Bobby Heenan. And if Heenan lost, he had to wear a weasel suit. You know, him being laughed at, you know, him being the butt of the joke was really good for business. It wasn't like silly, like cartoony. It was funny because he was made to look the fool. So he was really good at that. You know, Jim Cornette going out there and talking bad about the Rock and Roll Express, and then, you know, they come out there, they beat up Bobby and they beat up Condrey, and they get Cornette's face and they put it into a cake, right? So he's the jester, he's the fool. So, you know, wrestling was funny because he was being made fun of, but it wasn't a comedy. You know, you weren't laughing at wrestling, you were laughing at this entitled rich kid getting cake smeared on his face. So that's what's very important. Because, like, let's say you don't have a manager, and every time the good guys come out there and they confront you, they beat you up. Well, then that's the payoff. You know, people have already seen you get your ass kicked. But they can't get to you, but they can get to your weasel. They can get to the small manager guy who's always running his mouth. They can shut him up, make him look like a fool, but you guys still look strong to, you know, to eventually have that match where, you know, the good guys win. But so it's a tool. It's like when Lex Luger left. When Lex Luger left the Horsemen, you know, he didn't get his revenge. Like, he didn't turn by beating up Flair, right? He didn't turn by beating up Arn or Tully. Lex Luger turned by beating up J.J. Dillon, because J.J. Dillon was the one who was, you know, the one mocking him, the one trying to tell him what to do. He was the loudmouth, and he was the one that you wanted to see get his ass kicked. I mean, you wanted to see Flair get his ass kicked too, but, you know, Flair would be in there with guys like Dusty or Harley or whoever. But no one really got to JJ because it was a rare thing. So it's you can't make your bad guys look like fools all the time. So that's what the manager's there for. And managers, they can fill a lot of different holes. You know, they can be the joke, but they can also be very important for guys who can't talk on the microphone. So I mean, there are ways of doing business like that. There are ways of doing business like that. that's simple. But a lot of that doesn't exist in modern wrestling because there are no managers in modern wrestling. So the goofball role has to fall upon the wrestler. Like oh yeah, well, wrestling's always been patriotic. So like after World War II in the 50s and the 60s, they would turn a lot of non-German guys into Germans. You know, Fritz von Erich, Hans Schmidt, Baron von Raschke, so that you had the like you had the evil German for Bruno to beat, or the 80s it was all Russians. Ivan. Well, Ivan Koloff was but he was turned Russian. Ivan wasn't Ivan Koloff, but for only a couple of years before he beat Bruno. But you had Ivan and Nikita Koloff, Nikolai Volkov, Crusher Khrushchev, all the German guys. All the Russian guys. And it wasn't like North America had a monopoly on that. After World War II, the way that Japanese wrestling was able to establish itself again was because they would bring in the Americans and beat them, because they were the evil foreigners who had just bombed their country a couple of decades earlier. Yeah, the foreign menace doesn't necessarily have to be from the country we're just feuding with. It could just be like a random, like the Sheik in Detroit. He was some guy from, I think Sheik was from Canada maybe, or maybe not, but he became the Sheik. The Iron Sheik, he was just a journeyman wrestler, and they were like, you know what, let's turn you into a Sheik. So he became the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik I think he held the belt for 10 days. I may be wrong. I think it was 10 days. May have been shorter than that. But like wrestling's always had that kind of that gimmick of getting a wrestler who's not really doing anything and then changing them into an ethnicity that they're not. Because like what's his name? General Adnan. He was an Indian in the 70s. What was his name? It wasn't Billy White Wolf. I can't remember. But the WWF made Ricky Steamboat into a Japanese guy because Bruce Lee was popular. What's his name? Chief J Strongbow was just some Italian guy. So it's wrestling's always been, kind of simplistic in that. It's like good guy, bad guy. It's what's his name? Let's see. Shit, I lost the guy's name. My brain ain't working so good. I think Steamboat was Hawaiian. I mean, he may have been like mixed or something, but naming him the Dragon, him with the headband, it was basically Bruce Lee. Yeah, you guys will have to. Yeah, I think Austin's right. I think he was Hispanic and Asian. But if you go back and you watch, yeah, they played it up a whole lot. I mean, how they even made him a fucking dragon. But like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, that's a fantastic name. But it was like, I think he even had a pair of tights that had the Japanese flag on it. I'm almost certain of that. I mean, I might have to go back and look that up, but I'm almost certain he had a pair of tights that had the Japanese flag. And I was like, okay. I mean, hell, Yokozuna. It's like, we got this giant Samoan guy. Let's make him Japanese. So, like, it's smart, because no one's gonna question it. It's not like they're taking a guy from Alabama and making him an African. Oh wait, they did. Kamala. Steamboat, like, you can watch him all day long. Like, you can watch his stuff. You can watch his stuff in the early 80s with Jay Youngblood. You can watch his stuff with Savage in the WWF in 87. You can watch his stuff with Flair in 89. You can watch his stuff in 93, tagging with Shane Douglas and working with Steve Austin. Yeah, Kamala was what was his name was Sugar Bear Harris, and he was just this big fat country guy from Alabama, and he went to Memphis, and Jerry Lawler was like, listen, dude, you're not a very good wrestler, but you're giant, and we can teach you how to be a savage. So Jerry Lawler sits back there, he paints the the stars on his tits and the the moon on his belly, paints his face up and says, don't do anything, throw a couple of chops, and that's it. Don't do a whole lot of anything. And he did a whole lot of nothing. But it worked because, he was smart enough to understand what the gimmick was. Jerry Lawler was smart enough to work that gimmick. And then Kamala went to Mid-South, where Bill Watts saw the gimmick and said, okay, we can do something with this. I mean, if you think of Kamala now, you think of, 90s WWF joke, where he was just, the big guy who was scared of The Undertaker and, being sad because Doink gave him an empty present and stuff like that. But Kamala was a legit terrifying guy that drew a shit ton of money all over the United States. I'm just gonna keep doing shoulder presses because I don't want to do it. I really don't feel like doing anything else. Lawler is the man. Like, no one. If anybody knows anything about wrestling, they cannot hate Lawler. I mean, the guy's been on top for like 50 years. Selling out Memphis, every single week. fudgesicle. Me too, David. Every time I sit here and I look at myself in the camera, I'm like, I'm a very big Jerry Lawler fan. I would watch. I had this really good compilation of Lawler versus Dundee, and like Lawler's just fantastic. He's so good on the microphone, and Bill Dundee is awesome as well. And Lawler still wrestles. I mean, he doesn't do a whole lot of stuff, but all he has to do is go in the ring, punch a couple of guys, take his strap down, maybe do a pile driver, and that's it. Like, what a fantastic man. I mean, he can wrestle forever because he's just so he knows wrestling. Well, that's the big one, David. Like him and Kaufman. Like I don't think I was alive when that happened, but hearing about it so much, and then being able to see it later on, and then just like how fucking big that was. Like wrestlers didn't get on David Letterman, especially like Memphis wrestling. Memphis wrestling was very big, but it wasn't a huge territory. But Lawler was on fucking David Letterman, and that thing was so big. And good on Andy Kaufman. I tell you what, I think I was born that year, so I'm like 45, so it's okay. Don't worry. You should hear me when I talk about, like, consider, like, you guys, I'm mentioning all these names and you guys understand it. I try to talk this way to other people, like other wrestlers or fans or whatever, and they look at me like my head's on fire. Like, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, what do you mean you've never heard of Kamala? And I forget that these kids are like fucking 20. I'm like, God, how long have I been doing this? Maybe we'll do like 2 more sets. Just fire them up. Like the shoulders are feeling good. I don't want to overwork them. I'm also barely working them now, but let's just get to a good stopping point. Let's see if I can't get my camera to get a good height. Ooh. And then we can take a picture or two. Fudge. Oh. Okay, I feel a little bit better. I thought I was doing 40s and I'm on 80, so it's less bad. See you, Austin. I hope to talk to you again soon, buddy. But I think I will drop it down to 60 and just get like a good set of 10 in. And then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to see if I can get a good picture of my triceps and then take a shower. Because I am so fucking sweaty. But I feel like we've had a good workout today. I don't know why I'm doing this. I didn't do any biceps, but triceps look good. The triceps look good. Good. Chest feels good. A lot of those fucking butterflies. And like, this is difficult, so you know we had a good shoulder day. And I really appreciate you guys talking with me, because when I'm sitting here alone, it's like, you know, all I'm doing is sitting here and looking at the clock like, okay, I can do another set now. But, you know, talking about wrestling, I should just do that anyways. Like, even if I'm here by myself, just like, okay, well, this was my favorite angle about this. I love this wrestling. But talking about wrestling really helps take my mind off of it. Because me love wrestling. I need to buy some more trunks. You guys will have to help me decide what style of undies I should get. I tell you what I need. Is an air freshener in here, because it just smells like death. It is not pleasant in here. Oh well, thank you, David. I get very worked up when I talk about wrestling. Like, I can talk about old wrestling and it makes me happy, and then I talk about new wrestling and I am like the most sour, bitter man you've ever known. Like, I hate everything. And I'm just like, it's like, I hate this wrestling. Oh my God, why are these guys doing this? I mean, I've made a couple of videos recently about wrestling. Well, not too recently, but you know, I've made videos about wrestling and they're all negative. And I was thinking about doing some more just because I have so much hate inside of me. I need to let it out. I mean, it would be good if I were just to sit down and talk about like what I like about wrestling. Like, oh my God, have you watched Doink? He's fantastic. Or let me tell you about why Austin Idol is the most underappreciated man in all of modern wrestling. God, this hurts. Let's say 3 more. Let's just go until we can't go no more. I think we're getting there. Oh, fudge. I mean, Tully Blanchard is still alive and he's still in wrestling. He was gone from wrestling for a very long time, but they brought him back to AEW, and he's a manager there, which is really good because Tully Blanchard is like the most I just said this about Austin Idol. Tully Blanchard is so fucking good and no one understands it. I mean, we understand it, but I don't think people understand like how fucking great he was. I wonder if you guys can see that. Like, I sweat so much that it's actually dripping. I'll tell you what I'll do, David. I'll try to find a good topic that I can talk about with older wrestling, as long as I'm allowed to talk about how much I hate modern wrestling. Like, for every one video about how much I love wrestling, we'll do one by how much I hate everything else. Tully kept himself in good shape, but I think what helped. Let me raise this up a touch. I think what helped Tully was he got out of wrestling at like 1991, because you know they had left the WWF and we're going to go back to WCW, and Tully failed the drug test and he never really got a job again. I mean, he did a couple of wrestling, but he stopped wrestling like in his prime. So he wasn't as beat up as everybody else. Plus, he's kept a lot of that weight off. You know, like Arn Anderson, he still moves around, but Arn is very, very heavy. Oh, absolutely, David. Like, I've always said, like, if you like modern wrestling, then you're not a wrestling fan. I mean, I hate to gatekeep wrestling, because, you know, wrestling, you know, I don't want to tell people what they should and shouldn't like, but I hate everything about wrestling nowadays. And I'm in wrestling nowadays, and I hate myself. Let's see if we can get a good triceps picture. Oh yeah, that one looks good. Let's see if we can get a good picture of that one. Good flex. Boom. That was a good one. I tell you, righty never comes out. Like, he's fucking scared. He's got good mass to him, but there's fucking no definition. I tried giving his podcast a couple of listens. It seemed a little disjointed, but I only gave it a couple of listens. I mean, maybe it got better, because it can take people a little while to get going, but like, so many podcasts are a little hard to listen to, like what's his name? There's a new Jake Roberts and DDP podcast. I was like, okay, Jake Roberts is a good storyteller. Maybe if you focus him, he can tell a good story about this or that or whatever. But no, he is all over the place. DDP is no help. It's basically like, oh, I'm going to talk about a minute about this one thing you asked me about, and I'm going to go on about how DDP yoga saved my life. It's like, you know what, Jake, I'm glad you're healthy, I'm glad you're happy. Stay on fucking topic. All right, I'd love to sit here and talk with you guys about wrestling, but I am very wet and sweaty. Check my Instagram in a couple of minutes, because I took a picture of my weight bench, and you guys will understand how sweaty I am. But I need to go shower and get some food in me. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking wrestling. I hope you guys come back, David. You know, I don't see you in here very often, but you know, come back more and you know, chat with me. Tell me some stuff you've chat. You know, yeah. It's, you know, a lot of those guys, they can sound pretty weak, but come back in here and talk more, you know, with me about wrestling and stuff, and keep me entertained, because when I'm here by myself, it's just the voices in my head, and those don't tell me anything good. And we can talk about ideas of things I can talk about more, you know. But you guys have a great rest of your weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, you know, feel free to message me anytime on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and I will talk to you again after a while.